Are there any overarching themes you think that the collection holds? You mentioned sort of locations of California and Chicago and Canada, but any sort of looking at the entirety of the collection?
The entirety of the design collection is just constantly growing and stretching, and it's a combination of my current tastes and queries and interests in going to new countries, because I've probably collected in 30 countries already, and what the clients are asking me for. So you could have a notion that you wanted to see more stuff that was inspired by Maasai beading. You could mention it to me. I could start looking around at Maasai beading. I might even take a trip to Africa, or I might think about the way these very bright colors form geometrics and be more attracted to textiles of bright colored geometrics, even though I wouldn't go to Africa to find them. My eyes would just start zooming in when I saw a zigzag or something on the street.
Speaking of going to Africa, how often, you've been collecting at least the last 23 years since moving back to New York, how often do you go back into the field to collect more samples?
I find it hard to stop collecting samples. It's part of my existence. I like to get there very early before dawn to the flea market when I go to Kyoto, for example. When I go to a new place, I like to find the biggest cache possible. And there's always something that I haven't seen before. If I haven't seen it before, I must have one so I can handle it and look at it at home and research it, maybe bring it to the library. Anything I haven't seen before, I need one or two. And sometimes that sparks a trip. I'm no longer following guys as much, but when I first go to a place, I go to the market, I look at all the villagers who come in from the outlying areas. The one with the best poncho, I get on his bus and follow him back to his village, and things develop like that.
You would follow strangers into their villages and then...
Yeah, of course, especially in places where I don't speak the language. I did that very often in Peru. I did that a fair amount in China. Yeah, have to...
You're like a bounty hunter with textiles.
Follow guys who have those clothes.
And then if once you get to this village, you would just see what textiles exist in that village, or you would try and talk to somebody? Or?
Oh yeah, I always try and talk, but it depends whether there's a common language or, there's a lot of body language too.